Hey guys, it's Welcomes and boy do I have one for you today. So you need to level. I've just done 1 to 60 on Druid. I did it in 2 hours and 31 minutes whilst writing the script. It's easily doable sub 2 hours, and I might even do it on Barbarian next just to prove a point. Now, this is going to be the quickest leveling guide we've had it all for Diablo 4, and I don't want to waste your time, so I'm going to get straight into it. If you like what you see, like and subscribe. This can work for season start, but it is aimed towards alts, as you do need a couple of materials that you may need to be level 20 to 30 to get. I will try to explain both methods as we go through, so stay with me and I'll have footage of the boss kills as we go. Now, the whole guide is going to be based around tempering, but it's not tempering as we know it. It's tempering with a twist. Tempering is the new mechanic in Season 4 that was implemented following the absolute purge on items where they went from having 4 stats to 2 or 3. Now, if the item is normal or sacred, you can temper it once to put 1 additional stat on the item, and if it's ancestral, you can temper it twice for 2 additional stats. These stats vary from item to item, and they can go from lucky hit procs, percentage damage, life, and even thorns. Now, for those who know the channel, you know I've had more than one thorns exploit, if you will, along the way, and this one is just as good. Tempering is currently bugged. Coding shows tempering should change depending on the item level. So, say you add thorns to legs, it should give you a small amount, but it isn't. It's not acting like aspects do. It's for tempering, whether it be on a level 10925 item or a level 3 yellow, it is giving you the max potential stats. So for thorns, it's between say about 500 and 840. Because it's putting those stats on, we can use that to our advantage. Now, before you go and go, oh, it's okay, so it's just thorns. No, there's a lot more to it, so stay focused. As you can see, I've got a bunch of gear here. These are from my curator kill, from my last run with Druid that you're about to see the video of. They're boots level 3. So I killed curator at early level 20s, you can see the fudge. With level 3 boots, the max level was the 17 helm. And this is gear that I actually just farmed as we went through and upgraded it to learn how to do this. So what are you going to roll where? You can roll thorns on head, chest, gloves, legs, feet, shields and neck. Don't roll thorns on them all. Just roll it on your gloves, legs and feet. Those 3 armor pieces will give you enough thorns for days. It will give you roughly 1600 to 2400 thorns. The helm and chest, you're not going to be putting thorns on. You're going to be putting on life. Now, because we're using a little bit of a lower gear, our stats may not be as quite up to scratch. But if you put life on both the head and the chest, exactly the same as thorns where it is scaling fully, you're going to be about level 10, we'll say, with 2400 thorns and 1000 health. That's the same amount of survivability as some level 40s have. That leaves your weapon, your neck and your rings. So we've got 2 choices for them. Damage to close or damage percent. You want to temper damage to close preferably. However, so you don't brick the items where you then have to farm another one, damage percent is absolutely fine. To put this to perspective, you're going to be hitting for about 8,000 a hit, and the mobs have 300 health. The extra bit isn't the biggest of deals. What we're going to be doing, we're going to make all these items up, and I'm sure you're thinking, where are we going to get the yellows from? Well, that's the thing. Until level 10, you just need to go and farm hell tides. It's boring. It'll take you about 10 minutes. You hit like a wet noodle. However, as soon as you have 1 yellow, put thorns on it, and that thorns, say you get 806 damage like these boots have got. Any mob that hits you is now going to get 1 shot all the way until about level 20. Just off that 1 item. So, as soon as you have it, you are free and ready to go. Now, we do have 1 mandatory aspect, and I have 2 quality of life aspects. But realistically, none of them are needed. The mandatory one just allows you to AoE. So, needle flare, I have an amulet, but it should be on a 2-hander. As I said, this was my first run through, therefore it was a learning curve. Now, what it allows you to do is anytime you deal thorns damage, so that 8,000 damage you saw me do at the beginning, it will actually then reflect that onto all the enemies around you. It does it as sort of a wave around you, and that will just almost screen wipe if you're a necromancer, because it also does it from your minions. So like I said, Needle Flare onto a two-hander, and the only other two choices are Helm of the Protector, which when you damage an elite you get a barrier. This is a very nice defensive option, but again isn't needed. And Juggernaut's Exceptional Leggings. Now at high levels this is great. This can give you like 9,000 armor at level 100. However, at the low levels, because some of the items are level 3, the extra bit of armor is nice to have, but again, not mandatory. As long as you get that Needle Flare on your two-handed weapon, you will be absolutely fine. I'm sure I don't have to tell you, the best way to farm experience is on World Tier 2 inside of Helltides. That hasn't changed, all I've done is increase the speed you can kill things. And isn't it amazing, in the 30 seconds of me explaining that information, we have just killed the Curator at level 27 with a level 1 potion and with no cast skills. And I'm sure you're wondering, but how does this move into World Tier 3? Well, let's take a look. We are of course a little squishier, but that's understandable because we're in World Tier 3 at level 27 and actually killing enemies. The experience bar goes up so fast, it's beyond a joke. Now, as you can see, we are just walking through these enemies. We do have to make sure we keep our defensives up. However, as I've said, I recommend you do this between 30 and 35, and at level 35, you're then going to do exactly the same as you did at level 1. You are going to recreate all of your items, but sacred versions. So as you're doing the events, killing the enemies, or use your obols, go get yourself a full set of sacreds, and then again reforge them into having, or temper them into having all of the correct stats on them. Just as we explained earlier, and we're going to have a go at doing Elias. I will just be using a set of 35 sacreds. I will only use the 3 aspects that we talked about, and I will do it at a lower level than you should. There's no point in doing Elias until you are level 50 to 55. And the reason there's no point is because you can't equip Ancestral Gear until level 55 anyway, so you'd just be going in too early. But you know what? I like a challenge. So let's take a look. I entered at level 45 in the hope to be able to kill him at 45. Honestly, I could have done it at 40, and I ended up being 47 by the time I managed to kill all the enemies because it's high experience with the buff. It's exactly the same rinse and repeat. I'm not going to keep boring you with the same in and out. I'll leave this video playing in the background for you so you can see how he dies, and in case you need any help with the tactics itself. But again, you go to World Tier 4 and it's the same again. Upgrade to Ancestrals, and you will be able to use that Ancestral Gear all the way to about level 70 to 80. At that point, I would recommend having a build in play, because unless you're a specific Thorns build, or you say drop the chest plate, razor plate, then you're going to be falling behind a little bit at that point. But there you have it, guys. 1 to 60 in 2 hours. I did it on a druid, it works for any class, and you can do it too. So get leveling, like, subscribe, and leave us a comment if you have any questions. I'm always happy to help. But until next time, Cubs, you know it. Peace.